All right, so I'm recording and I'm going to, I think, start out today with just going over a few things that I've seen, usually on Discord, but sometimes in email or on CourseLink, about assignment 2. And I want to, this will make it clearer so you can stop worrying about various things. What I want to do for this assignment, because I have to have some way of lightening the load for poor Marshall marking. You're going to demo your assignment to Marshall. So he has various times, and we'll set up some more so you can go on. It's only going to take you probably about 5 minutes to do that, and then you'll have what's in your documentation and programs will be in your GitLab account. So what I'm going to do Wednesday is in the class, I'm going to release what I want you to put in a template for demonstration. So there's going to be 2 parts to the demonstration. So I'm going to tell you which images, which OSs you have to load, and what things that you're going to have to put on them from Docker Hub, so you can come prepared with everything there. So basically, I'm going to tell you, put this into your into a template in your own, in the format that you have chosen. So you've got CSV or JSON or YAML or whatever it is that you decided. I'm going to describe, and I'll put this on CourseLink, exactly what you're going to show Marshall. Okay, so you're going to write up the files so it'll be ahead of time, so you'll know which ones they are, which operating systems, everything like that. Now, a lot of people are looking, and the hard part of this assignment is the last part. There's many different operating systems. They're all, even though they're all, most of them are Linuxes, they're all slightly different. They all have differences about getting Docker running on them and everything like that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to pick a couple of the easier ones. It'll be 2. They'll be easy-ish to do. Like, they won't be the hard ones, okay? Because like with Red Hat, it depends which version, everything. I'm not going to make it hard, okay? But I know a lot of you have been working on this, which is good, because I wanted you to see the pain of trying to automate a tool like this where you have all of these differences. Nothing is the same anywhere. Like, the operating systems aren't the same. The versions of running things are, it's just terrible. And this is one of the reasons for containers. So I want you to feel the pain of why people actually want to run containers, because everything's slightly different, even though it's the same. So what I'll do is I'll tell you that, so you have lots of time to prepare that. You can and test your system. Okay, then you're gonna get a time with Marshall, and you're gonna show him that. So you're gonna show him running. You're gonna say, here's what I've got in the files. Okay, this does what she asked for. Then you're gonna run it, and you're gonna show him. You're gonna share your screen. You're gonna do this on Zoom. You're gonna share your screen, and there it is. Okay, so that's fine. Now, the next part is that you're going to, if you want to, okay, this is from going from A to A+. If you want, you can have another template, set of template files where you show something that I didn't ask for. So that could mean that you're showing an operating system that I didn't ask for. You're, like you're loading something. We just, someone had previously asked about, oh no, someone asked, does this mean we don't upload the code to get, oh no, you do, because he's going to look at your code. No. This isn't one person does it and you all show it. No, you have to put your code in there. Don't worry. You have to put your code, you have to put your files. You'll run that for him. Then you can put a second set of templates in there where you want to show off something that I didn't ask for. So if you spent the time to figure out how to make it fly on something that I didn't ask for, or that you populated a Docker Hub, your own Docker Hub, with some different things, and you want to show how you're pulling from there, you know what? That'd be great. So that's to go from A to A+. So to get A, what you have to do is I'm going to put in a couple of different OSs. I'm going to put in a couple of different things that you're going to have to load onto them to run with Docker, and go from there. Okay, that you get that ready. You're going to book a time. I'll put up a sign up on it. I'll put a doodle poll up there. You sign up for a time. You go there, you show him that, and then he does that. And the submission deadline is the same. That's when you freeze your code. Okay, it's not the demo date because he can't do all you. There's like 58 of you or something like that. Even if it takes 5 minutes, that's going to take him a while. He's not going to do it all in one day. So we're going to spread it over the week, and it'll probably bleed into the next week. You want to freeze your code very close to the deadline of November 1st midnight or November 2nd. Like I said before, I'm not so worried. I'm not like passionate about that it has to be there at the various last minute, but I do want it very close to November 2nd. So that's when you freeze your code. Now we can see that, right? We can see when you put your code in. So freeze that, and then when you go to the demo, you'll have in your GitLab, you'll have a README that explains if he was doing this himself, if someone was doing it themselves, how they would do it. It has the code, it has the template files. Okay, so it has everything. I will put a list of all of these things on CourseLink, and on Wednesday, what will appear at class time will be all of the different things that you have to put in your demo. Okay, that's for the A. A+ is you do another one. You put another template in there, or add it on to the template if you're really, if you're being very bold, you can add it on to the template, just, like to show, just keep adding them in and you can do it. But, it's going to be through in about 5 minutes. It's not going to take all that long when you show, because you're running it. One of the problems he had is that a lot of you did not thoroughly document how to run your code for assignment 1, and the poor guy has spent like 100 hours or something like that doing it. It's just ridiculous. Anyways, so it's going to be an in-person demo. We tried this last time we taught the course. It worked pretty fast. People could, either it's working or it's not. So you'll know that. So you'll know Wednesday what the templates are going to look like. So I'll try to get them up Wednesday morning, so you can actually have a look at it before class, so you can come and complain. I'll put one list up for people doing AWS and one and a similar listing for people who are doing it in Azure. Okay. Yeah, I'll put another rubric up ish. Like it'll be obvious from the what you have to demo, but I will break it up between, there'll be a mark for the demo, the required demo, there'll be a mark for the extra thing that you're going to demo, and there'll be a mark for documentation and code. Okay, so just like before that there was some marks for the beauty of your code, we'll put that up. So I will post that on CourseLink as well. Anything else about that? I don't think so. So Wednesday we can talk more about that. So like I said, I won't make anything in the required template really tricky. And remember, you're making up the template yourself. So I'm just going to put up what I wanted to do. I'm not going to put it in any format. You format it because it's your format to do that. And post everything by around the deadline, and then I'll set up a doodle poll and you grab a time. Okay, I have to make sure it'll be definitely during the TA hours that he already has. I think that's 11 o'clock most days of the week, something like that. And I'll get him to put some up maybe at night or something like that, where it won't interfere with anybody's classes. And if you have a problem with any of the posted times, like I said, I'm going to put it up on a poll. You go there. If you can't get it, yeah, the deadline, don't worry about the deadline, the 1st, the 2nd, somewhere around there. I'm not going to look at the exact thing. Beginning of next week, right? Get it done then. I don't care about the actual deadline, okay? We're gonna start doing the demos next week, okay? So get it in as close as you can to the beginning of the week, okay? Which is 1st, 2nd, or whatever, what's the I don't know what the silly dates are. whatever. Oh, there it is. I'm looking for a calendar, the old fashioned type of calendar. What do we have? Yeah, Sunday is the first, Monday, Tuesday by that time. But anyway, he's going to start marking. So if you have it done, get a time, get it marked. I don't care if it's the first or the second. In fact, I'm not going to lose any sleep if it's the third. Get it done. Okay. And you'll have the template. Just go from there. We'll talk more about that Wednesday. If you want clarification, I'll get up the thing. You can look at it and tell me, Wednesday morning, take a look at it. See if if there's any questions about that. We'll discuss that on Wednesday. Also, I posted assignment 3. It is very easy. We're going to start looking at the theory behind what you're going to do. Is going to be serverless functions. They're fun. Let me get, I've got the assignment here somewhere. I posted it. Oh no, where did I put it? Here we go. Let me share my screen. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so you should be seeing the, where do I have my chat here? Sorry about that. Chat window always goes away on me. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, for part 2, yeah, I'll put everything in there, but there's going to be the demo. Then there'll be some other stuff that will all go in the in your GitLab. Yeah, that's just going to be a write-up. Part 2. Put that in there. That's it. That'll just be there. He'll look at that after. Okay. Good question. Thank you for reminding me, Martina. But here, if we look at the assignment, this is really easy. What you're going to do is that there's going to be, after today, we're going to look at Google Cloud today, but there's something that we're going to look at called serverless functions. It's called Lambda on AWS, functions on Azure, and functions on Google Cloud. You're going to pick 2 of the 3. And you're going to do for each, so let's say you pick AWS and you pick Google Cloud, and then what you're going to do is you're going to write one serverless function that runs on AWS and one that runs on Google Cloud. They're going to do the same thing. Okay, they're going to do the same thing. What are they going to do? The trigger that they're going to look at is that someone adds a file to some storage bucket that you have. So a bucket or a container, they call it different things in the different systems. In response to that, it's going to log the event, and then it's going to copy it to a backup bucket, and just name it something unique. Once again, you're going to demo this, call it like copy to, and then put your name in there. That'll probably make it unique enough. I doubt anybody is going around calling their buckets that. You can use any language that any of these things allow you to use. So there's a whole bunch of different ones. I think someone was bemoaning the fact that we haven't done anything in JavaScript. I think with AWS, they allow you to do it in JavaScript. In Azure, it's .NET and something else. It's very Microsoft-y. Google Cloud has a whole bunch of them. Python, Go, C++, all sorts of C#, whatever. It's got a whole bunch of them. Anyways, whatever, your choice. Whatever floats your boat, do that. And all I want you to do is do the functions, the serverless functions. You can create the buckets or the containers beforehand, and you can do them in any way you want. If you want to go on the console and just do them, that's fine, right? You can go in there, you can put a couple of buckets up there, the backup bucket, the original bucket or container, put that up there. And then create the functions and run them. This logging here, don't overthink it. Look at how you can do things in Lambda functions or functions, whatever serverless function you use, because for the most part, the logging will be done for you. This is sort of a gift. What you have to do is find out where it logs it. And as long as you can find that out and demonstrate, you know where it's going. So you could always get that log and find out what's going on. That's all I want. Okay, so I don't want you to do anything crazy. To be honest, this assignment is the most time it's going to take you is to try to figure out for two of those services, how do you actually do serverless functions? And they have so many tutorials that it's ridiculous, and they have code and they have everything. So this should not take you too much time at all. I just want you to experience functions, serverless functions. Okay. All right. Now, what do I want to do today? What I want to do today is I want to introduce you to Google Cloud Platform. So you were doing most things on AWS. Some people have switched over to doing some stuff on Azure. We talked a bit about Azure. There's some notes about Azure that are on the system. But what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to show you Google Cloud Platform. I'm just going to start off right here, just sharing something just real fast about the platform. Let me put up my chat so I can see it. What are you seeing? Are you actually seeing the presenter notes or the actual? You're seeing the presenter view. Oh, lovely. Okay, you know what? I'm only going to show you a few things. Who cares? Thanks though, guys. I've got a new monitor set up. So sorry, I'm having a bit of a problem figuring out how to set these things up. I'll have it figured out next time. Anyways, we're going to look at Google Cloud Platform. It started in 2008. And if you want to look at a bit of the history, I've got some references there. I put these notes up on the system. One of the things to note about this is that it's a little bit different than AWS in that it didn't start with storage. It started with their app engine. So basically a platform as a service. So that started in 2008, and that's still a big part. Their app engine is still a big part of what they present. They didn't start cloud storage until 2010. And so there's two articles there that I've put right here about the history to give you an idea of what happened with them. They're third after AWS and Azure. So AWS is way ahead of everybody in the number of people that use it, the amount of money they make, the number of services they offer, the number of regions they have, the number of data centers they have, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so they've got everybody beat. Azure has its niche because it's Microsoft, so Microsoft shops love it. But Google is something, it's neither fish nor fowl. It's sort of, it's kind of lacking in the breadth and depth that you have with AWS, and it's not quite as niche-y as Azure. It doesn't have as many data centers or regions, particularly with AWS. Though, you know, with Azure also doesn't have as many as AWS, but it's definitely in third place. And what I thought was interesting as I was reading an article, I don't know if you heard that it was in the news that Google is it has an antitrust suit being pressed against it by the US government. But I was reading this article where this industry watcher a tech industry watcher was saying that he didn't think that was Google's main problem. And he had a bunch of things that he was looking at with Google that's not going quite as they wanted. But one of the things that he talked about was their cloud. And obviously cloud is seen as a revenue stream for these companies. So he was saying that it has $9 billion in revenue last year. But, and even though that's a big number, that means it's an also ran compared to AWS and Azure. And it especially has a problem because it's not selling as much storage and compute power to companies. So that's where Azure and AWS concentrate their business is that they sell storage and compute to companies that want to move into the cloud instead of having on-premise data centers. And Google hasn't been able to crack that market as much as obviously they want to. They say they're committed to it, but they actually said that they may be rethinking how much they subsidize it. Now, all of the companies have to subsidize because you need a lot of equipment. You need it all over the place. But if Google Cloud, if Alphabet, the company that runs all of the, like Google and Google Cloud, if they pull back on subsidizing cloud, that's going to be really hard because cloud needs lots of resources. And so not subsidizing doesn't bode well. So let me stop sharing here. So it is interesting that we have this issue with Google Cloud Platform. So what I just wanted to bring you up to that, because when you're thinking about which platform you want to choose, there's all sorts of reasons to choose various platforms. One is obviously the ease in which you find to program it, or the services it has, or the price, obviously. And I'll say that Google does have a good price point. It is cheaper than AWS, but you also have to look at the stability and the staying power. And if they do, if Google isn't as committed as AWS is as to keeping their cloud fully subsidized, then they could have a problem. Or you could have a problem if you commit to them. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to share my screen again, but this time what I want to do, and hopefully this works, make sure I've got the right desktop. Sorry, okay. So I'll share this. Okay, so you should be seeing my, maybe I'll make this, is everybody, oh, let me get my, sorry about this, my chat goes away every time I do this, very annoying. So you should be seeing my browser. Let me make it as big as possible. Everybody seeing my browser? Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, so if you go to the Google Cloud Platform, go get a free account, educational account, log in, and when you log in, and they love asking you for your, if you have a Google account and everything like that, makes it easier if you do, and do it under your Google account, whatever. See what they talk about for free, or student ones. But anyways, so you get here and you've got your dashboard, and they have a thing called a project ID. So you have various projects, and you have to know these IDs when you do certain things. So you'll see that when you, if you use this, and particularly if you use it for Cloud Functions. But let's look at various things that we might want to do here. So let's say we wanted to do, so we wanted storage. Okay, so we go here and we ask for the browser, and what the heck? Okay, I don't know where these came from. Huh, that's funny. I'm pretty sure I'm still logged in. Yeah, but anyways, we'll go with this, but I'm going to create another bucket. Okay, so these, oh, I know, I'm sorry. I know where these came from. I was fooling around with the Cloud Functions, and I guess they created some stuff for me. Sorry about that. Okay, I confused myself. Okay, here we go. We're going to create a bucket. So they're using the same terminology as AWS, and they have the same sort of thing. You're going to have to pick a global, unique, permanent name. And we'll call it CIS 4010 bucket 01. And they have the same sort of thing. They want all lowercase, that kind of stuff. And then they'll ask which region you want it in, or you can have it in multiple regions, or you can do it across a whole bunch of areas. We'll say we want it in this particular region, but we'll put it in Montreal. Montreal is the only location in Canada. And they actually don't call it Canada, they call it North America. They have about, I think, 74 of these. So if you put this down, actually it comes up right away on mine. And that's only because I've been playing around with this and choosing it. If you just look at this, when you try to do this and you haven't done it before, it will show, I think, something like 50 of them, and then said, oh, there's too many to show, there's 74, so you have to click on something else and then it'll show you, because I think Montreal is number 62. So then you do that. Then they have these default classes. So standard is basically, it's data, you want to get to it, and you're all the time, you're going to be frequently accessing it. Nearline, cold line, and archive are really when you're backing things up or things that you don't use very often. So for the most part, you're going to be using standard unless you're putting something in backup. Now, they have these access controls, and they have fine grain and uniform. The difference between them, with uniform, it means that basically the permissions that you're putting at the bucket level will apply to everything. Underneath that, fine grain means you can actually tune it for everything at the, or you can do object level stuff. So if you want to see more about any of these, they do have these learn more. If you go to this page, you'll see it explains everything about the uniform bucket access, what they are, should you use it, various restrictions, what happens with it. Same with access control lists and doing it for where you want it fine grained. They explain everything there about that. So it's pretty easy to click on those and it'll pop up a window with that information on there. And then you can take that. There's advanced features with, if you want encryption keys, the default is to let Google manage it. You can also have retention where you want to protect the data from being deleted until a certain date, those sorts of things. And then you say create, and it's going to think about it for a while. Okay, and so if you go here, they have a bit of a weird display when they do it, because when it comes up, they show you the bucket and what's in it. So it looks like until you look up here and here, you don't think, why don't I have anything there? But it doesn't show you the bucket. If you go back to the buckets, you'll see we now have our bucket here. So I can go there. Now, if I wanted to create a folder, I'll call it images. So this is very much, if you look at this, it really does seem to be mimicking a lot of what you see in AWS. They're using the same words, like the same terms. You can upload files. Where was I going before? Oh yeah, we're in week 7. We're halfway through. I can put something like that in there. Right, and then it comes down here and it's telling that you're uploading it, gives you a progress bar there, and now it's done. And so there you go. All right, if you go over here, you'll see you can download it, but you also go here and you've got download, you can look at the metadata, copy, move, rename, export, all sorts of things like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it's very similar to AWS. There's almost, there's very few differences. Okay, let's go back here and we'll go to, where is it? Compute engine, and we'll go to VM instances. And the data for almost all these services is very similar, the way they do the data storage. What isn't as similar, although related, is how they do the VMs. And so in this, we've got, it comes up here, we don't have any VMs. We would see our instances if we did. So we'll create some. Oh, and I should warn you, when it does this, sometimes this can lag for a long time, just to display it. I mean, you have the thing with, in all of the services that you have to, especially when you instantiate a VM, you have to wait for a while or delete it. Particularly AWS, it takes a long time to delete. But anyways, yes, I know I need a name. Let me choose that one. You can see I've been playing around with it. But this actually for Google Cloud, sometimes when you start this adding a VM, it can take a long time. I was playing with this yesterday afternoon, and wow, did it take a long time for this this to come up. It's really, it can be very slow. So once again, we can pick a region or a zone if that's permitted. Then we have the machine configuration here. So they have different machines because they have some ones that are specialty ones. They have, there are different platforms. These are basically the chipsets. So we'll just default there. This is the machine type. They say machine type. It's basically the size. This would be what AWS was calling size for EC2. So we'll just pick a little tiny one. Then you can go here, boot disk. This is their way of saying what operating system do you want. And when you go there, they have different things that you can choose. And then underneath those, so if you went to like Ubuntu, you'd have all the various flavors here that you could choose. If we go back to Debian, Debian only has the 2, so we'll stay with Buster. You can set size here. They do have, there are such things as custom images that you can make up. And so we have that. We can have, we'll just let default access. We have the quick way of just allowing HTTP traffic. It obviously already lets you in with secure shell. So bang, now you can create it. Okay, so it'll do the same thing as you have on AWS. It can be just as fast or just as slow, but it's setting it up now. And so when it does set it up, we're going to have information about there we go, we've got it. Now, there is a little bit of a difference here with AWS and Azure in that, okay, if you go to the end, it's got, here's all the different things that you might want to do. Okay, with your instance stop, suspend, reset, delete, view various things. So you can see the logs, you can do all sorts of different things there. But they also have this thing about connecting. And so you can actually open this in a browser, right? So it's transferring SSH keys to the VM. It's setting this all up for you. And so it should come back here and we should see it in, yeah. Well, it's establishing, there we go. And there we have it. So now we're here. When we run commands, we can see all sorts of stuff here. Let's see how we are. Okay, so we've connected. We're running a little window here. We've secure shelled in. Happy as a clam. So that's one way to do it. Now, that's fine. So very similar in a lot of ways to what we've had before. But what I also want to show you, I'm looking, we don't have any questions about this yet. Now, what I want to show you is doing it, okay, let me do this. I'm going to show you how to run from your command line. And I want to show you a few things and explain a little bit about the differences. When you were running on Azure or AWS, you downloaded an SDK and you downloaded a CLI. In the Google world, it's the same thing. So you just do one download. So you're going to download their SDK, okay, or CLI, whatever you want to call it. But I think they call it SDK, but it's called gcloud. And then it's very easy if you go, like ask for installing gcloud. It's very easy instructions, whatever operating system you're on. And what you get there is then the ability to run a couple of different types of utilities. One is called gcloud itself. So I can see, let me just clear this screen. And if I do G-Cloud authority list, it's showing me the accounts that I have on in my project that I set up, and I set up the one VM. And so I have one account. I'm DA Stacy at uofguelph.ca. That's who's got permission to use the things under my account. So I can also check what I've got running on my account. So I could, the commands are very similar on all CLIs. They usually have like something that, you know, like whether it's AWS or Azure or whatever, but this is G-Cloud, and then what kind of thing you want to get at. So we want to look at the compute. I want to see what instances I have. I want to list all of the things that I have. So if I run this, there we go. It's telling me I have CIS 4010-A. It's in the North American Northeast 1 zone, which is Montreal. It's an E2 micro machine type, and it's got the IP 3495.46.39. Let me write that down so I don't forget what IP I have. Anyways, okay. So we have that, and its status is that it's running. If we wanted to know more information about that, we could say describe, and I could, if I had multiples, I could just tell it which one I wanted. So I could ask it for a description, and whoa, do I get a description? So if we look at this, we've got all sorts of stuff that comes out. You have to look up, it's saying what CPU platform it has. It's Intel Skylake. It's got the name, it's got the disk size, all the different things that are attached to it, all sorts of things. Anything else interesting? You know, all sorts of different things here about where it actually is, full link to it, all sorts of things. It's got what's set up on it, like for reports. We can get into HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, so it's got all of that there. So that's in the description. And we can use this. So we could say G-Cloud compute, and we could say secure shell and DA Stacy, because that's the name I set up, at CIS 4010-A. And there we go. So like I showed you before, when I was in the secure shell, there I am. Ugh, I can't type. You know, so we are back on this, back on that thing. So we have a couple of different ways under the G-Cloud platform we can use the SSH window that comes up from the browser. In the browser, we can also use G-Cloud to look at, to get into, well, we can look at what we've got running in our compute, so we can see which instances we have. We can look at the description of the instances. You can do a bunch of other things on there too. There's also something called GSUtil. Sorry, I can't. And what I can do is, let's say I want to look at what I have in my storage. So GS is Google Storage, and so it looks just like a URL. And what did I call it? CIS 4010 bucket 01. And so I can get a description of, there we go, everything that's in my bucket. And so, whoa, isn't that wonderful? Okay, so it's saying that I've got under my bucket, CIS 4010 bucket 01, I have a folder called images, and there's the information about images when it was created and updated. We also have, and if it had any access privileges that I had put on, but remember we just did the uniform one. And then I've got one image under that. So under the images directory, I have gcp1.png. We've got the creation time, storage class, the length of it, what is it? We've got a whole bunch of things here. And so we've got a total of 2 objects there, one the folder, one the file for a certain number of bytes. And if we're using this, it's very much, remember that assignment 1 where you had to do something similar, making your own command line interface. It's doing something similar too. This just shows you that that's what you've got under that. So if I did this, I could put images at the end there, and it would show me, oh, look, I'm in a folder and I have 1 file. And with this, I actually get the size and time it was created, or up. Is that creation or last update? Let's look at that. That looks like, well, it could be either because they're both the same, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, anyways. So that lets you on the command line look at all of those various things. If you want to use it as SDK with Python, there's a few other steps that you have to go through, but they're not too tremendous. It's just you have to make sure that you have everything downloaded for the particular language you wanted to work with. So with Python, most of the libraries that you would need for this are on their GitHub, although most of it will be installed when you do the big G-Cloud install. Most of it will be there. So it's pretty straightforward using Google Cloud. The only thing that's a little bit different is like, it's closer in a way to Azure, the way it manages identities, because with Azure, it wants you to have a Microsoft identity. With Google, it wants you to have a Google identity. With AWS, it doesn't care. You have an AWS identity. They don't have another system behind it. So, you know, this one's very Google centric, Azure's very Microsoft centric, and AWS is Amazon centric. So it doesn't have any predilection for you having other identities. You create your own identity there. So like it's, if we go back, you can see we've got all of this. These are easy enough to get rid of too. You can delete, or you can come down here. I'm going to delete because unless anybody has questions that they want me to show them something, because I'm going to blow everything away, which you should be doing too when you're not using it. So does anybody have a question, or can I blow it away? I don't see any questions. I'm going to delete it. There we go. Do I really want to delete it? Yes, I do. There we go. Okay, so it's going to do that. Oh, yeah. And yeah, it didn't like, it told me about this, that it didn't like me getting rid of stuff. Okay, let's go back up here. Let's go to the storage. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. No, wait a minute, I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna delete the whole thing. I haven't done that before. Okay, I've got to confirm this. It'll delete everything underneath it, as it should. And I'm gonna do that. Okay. All right. And when you're, let's go back to, see if it's finished. Yep, it's finished. So everything's blown away, which is what you want. What else here? Let me, yeah, if you want to, there's a whole bunch of other things here. They've got databases, their big table, which is a type of database, SQL stuff. They've got a whole bunch of things with networking that you can monitor, log, do all sorts of things. They've got tools for building things, tasks, registries, all sorts of things. One of the neat things about this, and I put it in the notes that are on the system, is that you can also set up your VM instance when you're doing it to actually have certain containers already pre-installed So you would, if I let you do it on Google Cloud, you wouldn't even have had too many problems with that. But anyways, you can actually containerize your VMs, which is why I gave you assignment 2, because this is where people are going with all of this. So, okay, so let's get this back home to our dashboard. One of the things that it's nice here, you can go through, you can see all the status, your billing, all sorts of different things. You can go here and you can see all the activities that you've gone through. It takes a while with this because it keeps loading all of these different things. We can see there's buckets deleted, VMs deleted, setting up things, creating buckets, all this sorts of stuff, setting up, doing the secure shell stuff, all the keys being transmitted, doing a whole bunch of things. And there was a whole bunch of things I did yesterday. So there's a whole slew of things that you can see here. You can see here I created a function because I was looking at the doing cloud functions, which I set up to run. There's all sorts of things here. It's easy enough to set it up. This is the same on AWS and Azure. You'll go to a certain service for the functions and be able to set it up. And then you can choose languages and everything like that. You can see triggers, runtime, and read carefully the documentation, because part of the question asks about logs, and all of the services log it for you. It's just where do they put the log, and that's all you have to figure out. So pretty simple. Let's see. Do I have anything else? No, I don't think so. I'm going to stop sharing right now. So yeah, so if you go to the course link site, I've got the notes posted. It's pretty much what I went through. There's a few other things where I show you about downloading G-Cloud and things like that. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward to set up. They do both Azure and Google Cloud sort of mix their CLI and SDKs together. So all of them have done that separately. So if you look at it, you probably can see the maturity of the AWS platform, where they have a lot more, I'd say, mature components for doing programming of their system. But the other ones have similar aspects to that. But one of the things they've done to sort of, I think, catch up to what what AWS has, is that they link it with systems that they already have, and so that kind of helps them to get a little bit of a leg up when they were both later to the game. But to be honest, almost all the storage stuff, I mean, there's only so many ways you can do storage. And so if you look at their blob storage or containers or buckets or whatever, they almost all are the same. So for the assignment, when you're working on that, like you could, like I said, like you can do AWS, you can do Azure, you can do Google. Okay. I don't care. You have to pick 2 of them, right? If you don't have any credits left, you might have to do it on, you might not be able to choose AWS, but to be honest, I don't think you're going to have, I don't think it's going to use very much to do the serverless functions. So what we're going to look at on Wednesday is I do want to go through the theory of what serverless functions are, because they are something very new to the cloud world. So for a long time, and you can go through and you can see this in the links I posted for looking at how Google Cloud started, but you can also see it in when we look at the history of cloud. The history of cloud is really 2 things: storage and compute, so mostly VMs. The rest of it got built around it, although Google was a little bit different because they had their app engine there. But really, it's compute of some sort, it's storage, cloud storage. Then they started branching out to put all sorts of other things on there. Now, some of the services they have are there to support those, particularly the compute part. But, you know, and they put security or to put firewalls or to put all sorts of stuff, monitoring, logging, all those, but they're really services for you to do storage and compute. One of the things that you have to figure out is just how heavy or lightweight you want your interaction with the cloud to be. So we looked at the difference between containers and VMs. And now you're going to see there's the next stage, and that's serverless functions. Okay, so we're going to look at serverless. What it means is it's not running on a server. Obviously, it is. Serverless means it's not on your server, as in you didn't set up a VM. Okay, so we're going to look at this new service that all of them have put out. We're going to look at the theory on Wednesday about why people have done this, why people are going to this, but be aware this is very new. It's evolving. It was really new earlier in the year, but it's still pretty new. And one of the things that's not completely figured out is the security for it. So there's still some interesting questions about the security for serverless. But we'll look at serverless, and that's all I want you to do for assignment 3. I actually, you know what? The quiz, the first 2 assignments, they were the heavy lifting. You're pretty much through the heavy lifting for the course. So you can, like, a sigh of relief, okay? Let your breath out. From now on, it's going to be easier in that, like I said, cloud is about storage, it's about compute. You've done the hard part. Those are the things that are the most mature, that have the most to do for you, and you've done that, right? And you've also looked at containers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at things that are added on to that. So we'll look at serverless functions, very new. We'll look at that. You'll do a few. It's really easy. I haven't asked you to do anything too hard. It really is very small amounts of code. And if you're clever, you can probably find most of the code out there. I didn't make it too difficult. I want you to just get an experience of doing something with serverless to think about, do you think this is a good idea? And not really that, but when is it a good idea? What could it be a good idea for? You know, can you see uses for this? Because it's new, it's a different way of approaching system design. So I want you to think about that, get a bit of experience in that. 4 is going to be, assignment 4 I'll have posted by the end of the week. It's going to be easy too, because it's going to be mostly your choice about what you're going to do. I'm going to give you a broad range of things that you can do. And it's really, I want you to think about 4 as being something you do for fun. Okay. And, you know, quiz 2 is not going to be anywhere near what quiz 1 was. What I'm going to, and you'll get those marks back soon. But what I'm going to do in quiz 2 is hopefully by the end of the week 2, I will have I'll post how I'm going to do that. It's not going to be exactly the same as the first one, because that was a little bit too much. And doing things on the system is a little bit weird. I'm going to think of some way to make it a little bit easier to do and a little bit more informative. You know, so you can have some fun thinking about some things. And that will lead to the exam, which is going to be just a little bit of a modified assignment 4. Okay, so you can, you know, what most of, after you get through assignment 2, the hard part of the course is over, okay, because you've covered the main part of cloud. And so now we're going to look at the fun parts, the new parts, the maybe not ready for prime time parts. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to experience as many cloud platforms as you want to, right? So you're definitely going to experience at least 2, maybe 3, possibly 4, depending on what you do. So you know, just, you know, feel good about the fact that once you get assignment 2 done, you're coasting the way home. So you can really enjoy the rest of the course, and hopefully you'll find some interesting things to do for assignment 4. I'm going to challenge you to find that. Okay, do we have any questions left about anything today, about the assignments? We'll talk more about the assignments. Like I said, I'll post everything that you have to hand in and how you're going to get A2 marked. And when you see that, that's pretty much what A3 is going to be like, about how to get that marked. Anything? No. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to be really, you know, on you about the date. The first part of November, November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, something like that. Get everything loaded to your GitLab. I'll tell you exactly what files you have to put in there, and I will start with the getting some hours set up so you can, and a doodle poll, so you can book a time to talk to Marshall and show him what you've done. And you know, I'll tell you how, I'll have on the course link about how it's going to go, so you can even practice it. So when you get there, you show Marshall that stuff and you're out of there. We did this last semester because we had to do it at the end of the semester because of the lockdown. And you know what? It went really fast. And I did actually a couple of them, and it was fast. So yeah, it's pretty good. So because you either have it there or you don't. And you're the one showing it off, so you know it the best. He doesn't have to guess. Like he's doing for Marshall, what he's doing for assignment 1. So, okay, so I'll see you Wednesday. We'll look at how A2 is going to be marked, what you have to do, and we'll start talking about serverless functions, and therefore assignment 3. Okay, everybody, have a good day, rest of the day, and see you on Wednesday. Great. Okay. Let me get, where is this end? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I've got to stop the recording.